Welcome to BBC Rare Coins, the ultimate destination for rare, valuable, and breathtaking coins. Subscribe now, join our growing family of collectors, and let's discover the most valuable 1-cent pennies America has ever seen. Top 1. Have you ever dreamed that something as simple as an old penny could be the key to a small fortune? Well, get ready, because the 1964 Lincoln 1-cent penny could be hiding a massive secret. Some of these ordinary-looking coins have sold for as much as $55,000. That's right. A tiny copper coin from 1964, the same one millions of Americans used for everyday purchases, could now be worth tens of thousands of dollars. But why? What makes a 1964 penny so incredibly valuable? Let's dive deep into the story. The year was 1964. The United States was booming with post-war prosperity. The Beatles had just landed in America, and color TVs were becoming a common sight in homes. During this exciting time, the US Mint produced over 6.4 billion Lincoln pennies. Yes, billions. So how could a coin produced in such large numbers become rare? The secret lies in quality, mint errors, and special varieties. First, let's talk about quality. Most pennies from 1964 were spent, dropped, handled, and tossed around for decades. As a result, finding a 1964 penny today in pristine, uncirculated condition is extremely difficult. Professional coin grading services like PCGS and NGC grade coins on a 70-point scale. Only a tiny fraction of 1964 pennies survive in grades like MS67 red, that's mint state 67 with full original red copper luster. These top-tier coins are the real treasures. And when one shows up at auction, it can bring jaw-dropping prices, sometimes $55,000 or even more, depending on the collector demand. Now, let's move on to mint errors. Some 1964 pennies left the mint with fascinating mistakes that make collectors go crazy. Among the most desirable errors are double die obverse. This error happens when the coin's design is doubled during minting. Look closely at Liberty or the date. If you see extra outlines or shadow-like images, you might have a doubled die penny. Repunched mint mark. Some 1964 pennies, especially from the Denver Mint, show a D mint mark that looks stamped twice. A clear repunch mark adds serious value. Off-center strikes, a coin where Lincoln's portrait is shifted to the side. That's a minting error collectors love and pay big money for. Die cracks and cuds, tiny cracks or missing pieces in the design can signal rare errors. Mint mistakes were accidents back then, but today, they can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. But that's not all. There's also talk among experts about rare special mint set coins and unique copper compositions from 1964. Some coins might have been struck on leftover planchets, blank coin discs, intended for earlier years, or experimental materials. These rarities, if confirmed, could send value skyrocketing even higher. So, what should you be looking for? If you want to find a valuable 1964 penny, check for these signs. Brilliant red color. Coins that retain their original reddish copper tone are more desirable. No signs of wear. Full, sharp details in Lincoln's hair, beard, and the lettering. Error varieties. Any doubling, repunched mint marks, or unusual design flaws. Professional certification. A penny graded MS66 or higher can already be valuable. MS67 red examples are extremely rare and command premium prices. Finding one of these gems could change your life. Imagine, a coin that once bought a piece of candy could now buy a luxury car, pay off student loans, or fund your dream vacation. And here's something even more exciting. You don't have to be a professional coin dealer to find one. Many valuable 1964 pennies have been discovered in everyday pocket change, old coin jars, inherited collections, and even flea markets. It's all about knowing what to look for, and if you think you've spotted a potential winner, send it off to be graded. PCGS or NGC certification not only authenticates the coin, it massively increases its market value. Remember, collectors today are willing to pay top dollar for quality and rarity. That little 1964 penny you've been ignoring could be your golden ticket to a $55,000 payday. So the next time you come across an old penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. You might just be holding one of the rarest treasures in American coinage history, because sometimes, the most valuable things are the ones we least expect. Top 2. What if I told you that an ordinary penny from 1967 could make you rich? Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1-cent coin from 1967 could be worth up to $62,000 today. A coin that you might find in your change, tucked away in an old piggy bank, or forgotten in a drawer could actually be a hidden treasure. But how can a 1967 penny, a coin that was once so common, become so incredibly valuable? Let's take a deep dive into this fascinating story. In 1967, the United States Mint was producing coins. Under extraordinary circumstances, just a few years earlier, a nationwide coin shortage had led to dramatic changes. The mint temporarily suspended putting mint marks on coins. That means 1967 pennies don't have a little D for Denver or S for San Francisco under the date. All pennies that year were simply struck without a mint mark, creating one of the most interesting periods in U.S. coin history. The Lincoln Memorial design was standard, featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Billions of these coins were minted, but not all 1967 pennies are equal. Some are extremely rare. And some, in pristine condition, have sold for as much as $62,000. Here's why. First, it's about condition. Almost every 1967 penny entered circulation immediately. They were used for candy, soda, postage, you name it. Most coins got scratched, nicked, and worn over time. Finding a 1967 penny today in mint state 67 red, meaning it still shines with its original fiery red copper luster, without any wear, is almost impossible. That's why collectors are willing to pay massive sums when one appears. Second, it's about errors. During 1967, the US Mint was producing coins at a frantic pace to solve the coin shortage. Mistakes happened. And mistakes are what collectors love. Here are a few error types to watch for. Double die errors. Look closely at the words Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. If the letters or numbers look doubled or fuzzy, you could have a very rare double die penny. Off-center strikes. If Lincoln's portrait is shifted to one side, or parts of the design are missing, that's a highly collectible error. Die breaks and cuts, cracks, blobs, or missing chunks in the design can indicate a die break. Another highly valuable feature. A standard circulated 1967 penny might only be worth face value, but a high-grade, full red, error variety penny, that's where the value explodes. In fact, at a recent auction, a 1967 Lincoln penny, graded MS67 red by PCGS, sold for an incredible $62,000. Why? Because it combined perfect preservation with dazzling color and flawless striking, the ultimate combination for serious collectors. So, how can you find one? Start by checking the color. Red coins are worth the most. Brown or dull coins are far less valuable. Examine the details. Lincoln's hair, beard, and facial features should be sharp, not worn down. The lettering and numbers should be crisp. Look for errors. Any doubling, off-centering, or odd markings could skyrocket a coin's value, and if you spot a promising penny, send it to be professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. A simple grading can unlock the full potential of your coin and turn an ordinary cent into a 5-figure payday. Imagine this: finding a tiny 1967 penny tucked away somewhere, sending it off for grading, and discovering it's worth $62,000. That's not just lucky, that's life-changing. And remember, these coins are still out there. In old collections. In coin jars, even in circulation, the next valuable penny might be closer than you think. So next time you get change back at the grocery store, or when you finally decide to clean out that dusty drawer, take a closer look, because hidden among those ordinary coins might be a piece of history, and a ticket to an unbelievable payday. Don't miss your chance. Your $62,000 discovery could be just one penny away. Top 3. Imagine holding a tiny, ordinary-looking penny in your hand, just a simple 1-cent coin from 1977. Now imagine that penny being worth $67,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's true, and today, you're going to find out exactly why a 1977 penny could be hiding a fortune. Let's dive into the incredible story of the 1977 Lincoln penny. In 1977, the United States Mint produced over 4.4 billion pennies. The design was the familiar one we all recognize, the proud profile of President Abraham Lincoln. On the front, And the Lincoln Memorial on the back. At first glance, there was nothing unusual about them. They were struck mainly in copper and zinc, circulated everywhere, and used daily for everyday purchases. But here's where it gets fascinating. Not all 1977 pennies are created equal. A very small number of them are so rare, so pristine, and sometimes so full of minting errors, that they can sell for eye-watering prices, like a staggering $67,000 at major auctions. So what makes a 1977 penny worth so much money? First, it's all about condition. Coins that survive in perfect condition, untouched, uncirculated, and still gleaming with their original copper red shine are extremely rare. These coins are graded by services like PCGS and NGC. A 1977 penny graded MS67 red, mint state 67 with original red color, is nearly impossible to find. Only a handful exist at that level, and when they do come up for sale, collectors are willing to pay big money to add them to their collections. A second, it's about mint errors. In the fast-paced world of coin production, mistakes happen, and these mistakes can turn an ordinary coin into a rare gem. Some of the most valuable 1977 penny errors include doubled die obverse, where the letters and numbers, like Liberty and the date, appear doubled. This subtle mistake can add massive value. Off-center strikes, coins where the design is not properly centered. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value. Die breaks and cuts, cracks or missing parts in the coin design caused by damaged minting equipment. Collectors love these. Struck on a wrong planchet. Occasionally, a penny could be accidentally struck on a blank meant for a different coin, such as a dime. These errors are extremely rare and incredibly valuable. Each of these errors tells a story, a tiny mistake frozen in time, making your coin unique and highly desirable. But there's more to the 1977 penny story. It was a time of economic change in America. Inflation was rising, the US Mint was experimenting with different metals, and coin collecting was becoming more popular among everyday people. This historical context adds even more charm to finding a rare 1977 penny today. So how do you spot a valuable 1977 penny? Here's what to look for. Color: you want a coin with its original fiery red copper tone. Condition: sharp, detailed features, with no signs of circulation wear. Errors: look closely at the letters, numbers, and edges. Any unusual doubling, cracks, or misalignments could mean serious money. Certification: only professionally graded coins achieve the highest prices. A penny certified MS66 or MS67 red is a true treasure, and yes, these coins are still out there, in old collections, in dusty jars, even mixed in with regular pocket change. One lucky find could turn into a $67,000 jackpot, just from a coin most people wouldn't even notice. Just think about it, a single penny, forgotten for decades, could now pay for a luxury car, a college education, or a dream vacation. And finding one doesn't require a fortune, it just takes a little knowledge, a sharp eye, and a bit of luck. So don't underestimate that 1977 penny sitting in your change jar. Check it carefully, treasure it, and who knows, you might be holding one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in American history, because sometimes, the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight, and your $67,000 discovery could be just one coin away. Top 4. Can you imagine finding a penny from 1985, a simple, everyday 1-cent coin, and discovering it's worth a staggering $58,000? It might sound unbelievable, but for a lucky few, it has become a reality. Today, we're revealing the secrets behind the 1985 Lincoln penny, and how one tiny coin could change your life forever. Let's dive in. The 1985 penny looks like almost every other modern US cent. It features the timeless image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It was minted by the billions. Over 5.6 billion pennies were struck that year. With so many coins produced, you might think all 1985 pennies are worthless, but the truth is, not all 1985 pennies are created equal. Some very special examples have sold for as much as $58,000. And today you're going to learn exactly why. First, let's talk about condition. Collectors are obsessed with quality. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, and finding a 1985 penny in mint state 67 red, that's full blazing original copper color, with razor-sharp details and no signs of wear, is incredibly rare. Only a handful of 1985 pennies have been discovered in this elite condition. In fact, at a major auction, one such perfect 1985 penny sold for an unbelievable $58,000. Why so much? Because finding a flawless, untouched example after nearly 40 years is almost like finding a needle in a haystack. Second, it's all about rare mint errors. During high-speed minting, mistakes happen, and these mistakes can make coins extremely valuable to collectors. Some 1985 pennies feature double die errors. Check the date, Liberty, and In God We Trust. If you see a shadowy doubling effect, you might be holding a rare and valuable double die coin. Off-center strikes. If Lincoln's portrait is pushed far to the left or right, collectors will pay big premiums. Die cracks or cuts, breaks in the die cause strange raised lines or blobs on the coin, and these errors can dramatically boost value. Wrong planchet errors. A penny accidentally struck on a smaller or larger blank meant for a different coin can fetch thousands, even tens of thousands, at auction. Third, rarity and survival. Although billions of 1985 pennies were minted, almost all were used, abused, and worn down. Finding one today in top-grade condition, especially with an error, is incredibly rare, and rarity drives price. That's why a coin that once bought a piece of gum could now buy you a brand new luxury car. So how can you spot a $58,000 penny? Here's what you need to check. Color. Bright, original red copper color is key. The redder, the better. Condition. No scratches, no dings, no stains, just perfect, sharp details everywhere. Errors. Look for anything unusual, doubling, misalignment, cracks, or odd surfaces. Certification. Professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC confirms the quality and authenticity, and massively boosts market value. If you think you found a promising penny, don't delay, get it professionally graded. That little coin could turn out to be a $58,000 jackpot hiding in plain sight, and the best part, these coins are still out there. They're sitting in old piggy banks, dusty coin jars, forgotten drawers, and inherited collections. All it takes is one lucky find to change everything. Just imagine one moment you're holding an ordinary penny, and the next, you're staring at a certified rare coin worth $58,000. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of history, a symbol of luck, and a potential life-changing discovery. So don't overlook those 1985 pennies. Check your change. Search your collections. Take a second look at every Lincoln you come across, because hidden among them could be your golden ticket to an unbelievable payday. Your $58,000 treasure might be just one penny away. Top 5. Imagine this: you're digging through an old jar of coins, and there it is, a simple 1989 penny, just an ordinary Lincoln cent. Right, wrong, because that tiny copper coin could be worth a staggering $91,000. Yes, you heard that right, $91,000 for a 1989 penny. Today, we're going to uncover the secrets behind the 1989 Lincoln penny and explain how you could be just one lucky find away from a life-changing fortune. Let's dive in. 1989, the US Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents, over 7 billion. To be exact, the design was familiar: Abraham Lincoln's proud profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. At a glance, these coins look like millions of others, but hidden among them are rare varieties, error coins, and ultra-high-grade specimens that collectors are willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars to own. What makes a 1989 penny worth up to $91,000? First, it's about condition. Almost all 1989 pennies entered circulation immediately. They were used, scratched, worn down, and tossed into pockets and purses. Finding a 1989 penny today in mint state, 68 red, blazing original color, flawless surfaces, and nearly perfect strike, is almost impossible. But when one does appear, it can sell for astronomical prices. At a major auction, a perfectly preserved 1989 Lincoln penny, graded MS68 red by PCGS, stunned collectors when it sold for a jaw-dropping $91,000. Second, it's about mint errors. During the high-speed production process, mistakes happen, and those mistakes create some of the rarest and most valuable coins. Some 1989 pennies have been found with double die errors. If you look closely at a Liberty, the date, or In God We Trust, and notice a doubling effect. You might be holding a treasure. Off-center strikes, coins where the design is shifted dramatically off-center, the more extreme, the more valuable. Die breaks, cuts large blobs of metal where part of the coin's design is missing. Collectors love these oddities. Wrong planchet errors, imagine a penny struck on a dime-sized planchet. These mistakes can bring huge premiums at auctions. Even small errors, when combined with pristine condition, can multiply the value exponentially. Third, rarity matters. Billions were minted, but coins surviving today in near-perfect condition, untouched, blazing red, free from the tiniest scratch, are 1 in a million. And when you add a rare mint error into the mix, you have a recipe for a coin that's almost priceless. So how can you find a valuable 1989 penny? Here's what you need to check. Color. Look for full original red luster. The brighter and redder, the better. Condition. Sharp details. No nicks, no scratches, no stains. A pristine surface is critical. Errors. Examine every detail closely for doubling, misalignments, cracks, or strange surface marks. Certification. If you think you have a gem, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. A certified MS67 or MS68 red penny could be your ticket to a massive payday. And here's the best part. These coins are still out there, in dusty jars, inherited coin collections, old cash registers, and even inside your loose change. People overlook them every single day because they don't know what to look for. Just think about it. 1 minute you're holding what you think is just an ordinary penny, and the next, you're holding a rare gem worth $91,000. It could pay off your mortgage, fund your dream vacation. Or even change your life forever. So don't ignore that 1989 penny. Check every Lincoln cent carefully. Look for that fire red color, flawless surface, and rare errors, because hidden in your pocket change could be a small piece of American history, and a huge piece of your future. Your $91,000 discovery could be just 1 penny away.